What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of the 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below, the best gaming related show here on YouTube. And I'm really excited about our episode here today. We have a ton of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. I've made a decent amount of content up to this point for Outriders, a game that's going to be coming out later this year that reminds me of Gears of War. It seems like a spiritual successor to Gears, even though they really haven't said that. But I'm really excited about this game, guys. Let's talk about everything that we know so far about the game. So in an article written by Tobias Palm of Square Enix, we recently opened the floodgates and shared a torrent of information about Outriders, a brand new shooter RPG from People Can Fly, which, by the way, guys, People Can Fly are the ones who actually helped make Gears of War Judgment. You'll be able to find much of this information on Outriders' social channels, and there's already a deep dive on the Square Enix blog. But perhaps you want a less exhaustive look at the game. What is Outriders? So Outriders is a 1 to 3 player RPG shooter set in a dark and desperate sci-fi world. It's also a completely new IP. New franchises of this scale are quite rare these days, and the arrival of a new console generation means there's no better time to jump into a fresh universe of possibilities. While Outriders may feel comfortable and familiar in some aspects, make no mistake, everything from the gameplay, setting, weapons, characters, and more are all brand new. We're excited to see you delve into their specific nuances and secrets. So notice where he says, while Outriders may feel comfortable and familiar in some aspects. So obviously they're taking things from certainly Gears of War, probably Destiny as well, because you can see like different abilities and things of that nature within this game. So that's kind of something that's exciting and something that you can kind of relate this game potentially to up to this point. The universe and style of Outriders is something entirely different to the rest of the herd. We've left behind clean sci-fi with its lasers and shiny metals. Outriders takes place in a dark and desperate world where every day is a visceral fight for survival. The game is set on the planet of Enoch. While humanity was promised paradise, a weird phenomenon known as the anomaly has turned it into a nightmare. If you'd like to learn a bit more about the world and the story of the game, check out some of their short videos. So what I'll say, guys, is from what I've seen, of course, from what they've shown us up to this point, a lot of the creatures that are in this game look pretty awesome. Like, they look really well done. The graphics look very well done as well. It does give you like this Destiny vibe, but also Gears of War vibe, because a lot of the creatures kind of look like something that you would see out of the Gears of War franchise as well. But the graphics, I'm just gonna state this, the graphics look really good, and this game's gonna be coming out on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, as well as Xbox One and PS4. So Outriders will release for all platforms in holiday of 2020. Already stated where you're gonna be able to play it. And what kind of game is Outriders? At a fundamental level, Outriders combines challenging and satisfying shooting, deep RPG mechanics, and an excitingly savage story full of memorable characters. The game features intense action with brutal powers, all underpinned by People Can Fly's decades of experience creating shooters. That almost tangible feeling of pulling the trigger, it's there. But importantly, you can also shape your Outriders experience around the things that matter to you. The game features an extremely flexible skills and upgrade system that lets you build a character to suit your playstyle. If you like to hunker down behind cover and deal devastating damage from a distance, there's an option. Alternatively, if you like to get up close and personal, you can create a build that supports run and gun gameplay. And if you want to spend hours creating your own perfect character build, feel free to min-max away. So one thing also, guys, that reminds me a lot of Gears is the cover system. This is like the first game I've seen where there's like this cover system that looks very similar to Gears of War. And of course, the characters, they don't necessarily look quite as good as like the Gears of War characters, but I'll say that the characters themselves look a lot like Destiny characters that you would see in those games. But nonetheless, guys, I think that overall, what they're going for is like a Gears of War kind of style shooter that also you get abilities for, which Gears of War, obviously, you don't really get abilities whatsoever in that game. So this is a game where you're going to have, abilities as well as a cover system, as well as, probably some different challenges. And it looks just as gory as Gears of War, maybe even a little bit more gory. That's what I kind of noticed from at least what they've shown us so far. Outriders is not a games as a service title and does not include microtransactions. So that's pretty awesome, guys, that there won't be any microtransactions. Now we'll have to kind of wait and see when the game comes out, because we know that there's a lot of developers as well as publishers out there that will say one thing, and then when the game comes out, it ends up being a different thing, or they wait till the reviews come out, and then afterwards they'll start adding a bunch of other things. As in the form of microtransactions. So we'll see. It sounds really good right now. Hopefully they stick to it. So we believe Outriders will be a truly memorable experience. We've already released huge quantities of information and gameplay footage both on the official Outriders channel, but also through press and the content creator community. You can now see what the game will be like and might even be able to imagine yourself sitting down in front of it later this year. We're confident you'll love it. So, look guys, I think as a whole, the things that are most exciting to me is that this really feels like a spiritual successor to Gears of War. Not so much Destiny, even though Destiny, of course, with the abilities and the characters look a lot like that. But I think what People Can Fly are doing is they see that Gears of War, even though Gears of War is not, obviously one of the biggest games in the world, it's still a very strong franchise without a doubt. But there's just been a lot of problems between, the community and the developers and such. I think this is Outriders. They're looking at an opportunity that they could start trying to steal a lot of those players away from the Coalition and from, of course, Microsoft in a way to come over and play Outriders. And I think that this is the title that I think that the Gears of War community needs at this point, because in my opinion, I think Gears of War is in a great place, even though the community is in a very bad place at this point. But I think having other games and other experiences for the Gears community to try out that's similar to Gears of War will be good, because I'm saying that Outriders, I think, is going to be a great game, but I think after a while, people are going to still come back to Gears of War because there's nothing like that cover system. There's nothing like, some of the different weaponry as well as the cosmetics and all of the different characters and such. Now, we're going to have to wait and see how Outriders is. I mean, the characters don't look quite as badass as the Gears of War characters, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be a good game and a good campaign. What I love about what People Can Fly are doing is they're making this a full package deal. So they're going to have, of course, they're going to have multiplayer, they're going to have a story mode, they're probably going to have, co-op modes and things of that nature, similar to what you would see in a Gears of War title, like a AAA title. That's what this is probably looking like it's going to be at this point, and that's what I'm most excited about with Outriders, is that this is just going to be another experience. And you guys know I love Gears of War. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time. And I think it'll be nice to have something that's similar to Gears of War, because we really haven't seen a lot of games that have stolen ideas from Gears. There's been a few, but this looks so much like Gears with the cover system, and of course with the exploding heads and all of that different stuff that goes on, of course, within Gears of War, and the creatures and all of that. This just seems like a different experience, and that's what I'm really excited about. Now, Gears of War Judgment, guys, was probably the worst Gears of War game in my personal opinion. But this does look like something special. Now, here's the thing. We were all excited about Gears of War Judgment when that first came out, and it basically was like a horde simulator, in my opinion, when the campaign came out. It was just over and over again, like you were playing against hordes of enemies, like you were playing horde mode in a campaign, and I could not stand that concept. But some of the ideas that they had in multiplayer and such were actually pretty interesting. So I think if we get this, People Can Fly are doing a completely new IP, we'll see what happens. There's sure to be some problems and snags here and there, but this could be a really special new IP. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Outriders and what you've seen so far of the comparisons to Destiny and Gears of War. Let me know what you guys think, and for more Outriders content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. We've talked on the YouTube channel about God of War and a potential sequel to the very successful God of War reboot that came out. And I'm really excited, and I know a lot of other people are very excited for a continuation not only of this franchise, but to kind of see where the story goes and kind of what they're planning on doing behind the scenes as far as, are we going to continue playing Kratos? Are we going to kind of move over and start playing his son? Or what is going to be happening? So that is something that we're going to be talking about in this segment of the show, guys. Everything that we know so far about God of War and the God of War sequel. So let's talk about it. In an article that was written by Rachel Weber of Games Radar, after the incredible success of the 2018 God of War reboot, the arrival of a God of War sequel sometime in 2020 is a safe bet. After all, what better showpiece for the new PS5 than an iconic PlayStation series in all its new next-generation glory? The studio where God of War is made, Sony Santa Monica, has been quiet since the release of the reboot. So whatever all those talented people are working on is top secret for now. Now, what I will say, guys, is I actually don't think it's going to be coming out this year in 2020. I think that this is a game that's probably going to come out in a couple of years because they're going to want to build hype around it. They're going to announce it, and then they'll probably release it sometime after the PS5 comes out. Because in my opinion, if you're really going to have one of your flagship titles, you're going to want to be promoting that for a period of time before it comes out, especially something like God of War. So in my opinion, I would think that this is a game that's probably going to get announced in 2020 and it'll come out probably in the next couple of years. I say like in 2021, we'll see a lot more information about it, and then probably in 2022 is when we would see it. This isn't a Call of Duty game. It's not like we get a new God of War every single year. They are going to want to take their time with trying to really build the hype around this game. Of course, there's really no point in the studio pretending that it's not making a God of War 2, and it knows it. In an interview with Kotaku in 2018, God of War's director Cory Barlow revealed he has 5 games mapped out in his mind. In April of 2019, fans were giddy over a PS4 theme that stated Ragnarok is coming in ruins, referencing the world-ending event of Norse mythology that Kratos may or may not have caused during the events of God of War. More recently, a job listing for Sony Santa Monica revealed the studio was looking for a senior combat designer who must have knowledge of God of War and be able to speak in depth about the combat systems, mechanics, and enemies, and a facial blend shape character artist in whom next-gen video game platform experience is desirable. So, up to this point, one thing that's really interesting, guys, is the fact of the matter that, there have been essentially, Cory Barlow is saying that he has 5 games mapped out in his mind. So they're really thinking maybe long-term with this franchise, and that's really exciting. I really want, obviously, and I've said this on multiple occasions, I want God of War to have more reasons for me to come back and continue playing the franchise. Whether that co-op modes, whether it's multiplayers, or whatever it might be, it just feels like just a campaign and a DLC isn't really going to keep me consistently coming back and playing it over and over again, because it gets stale after a while if you play it so many times. So I would like just new ways, new innovative ways that they can continue bringing players back to the franchise. That's what I personally would want. So, at the end of 2018's God of War, Kratos and Atreus discover Faye, aka Mrs. Kratos, was actually a giant called Laufey, making Atreus half god and half giant with another name, Loki. Yes, that Loki, the one from Norse mythology who is often portrayed as a trickster, sometimes with shape-shifting abilities. God of War played pretty fast and loose with Norse mythology, but could offer some hints as to what's to come. Once that big revelation is out of the way, we're told Fimbulwinter is coming. If you skipped your Norse mythology class, shame on you, then know that this is a 3-year great winter that precedes Ragnarok, the Norse apocalypse. So, okay. One of the big things for me at least, with God of War that bothered me about the campaign was actually that it was just too much snow. It was so many snow maps. Sure, there were areas where it wasn't really snowy, but it just felt like while you're playing the game, it's just like cold the entire time, like in my opinion. And I kind of like it more where there's differences in, of course, like you're going, into the mountains where it's snowy, but you're also going to the jungles where it's like warm and tropical and other places. And they didn't really do that much in God of War. I want them to kind of, obviously I think if you're taking this approach with Ragnarok and you want to make it so that there's a number of, a period of time, right? A 3-year great winter, you want to give that some effect. I just am not going to really want to, I'm hoping that they don't have the entire game like in snow and in snowy environments and such, because that was something I think they did too much in the first one, and I would really hope that they don't do more of the same in the second one. So at times, God of War felt like a very personal project about fatherhood, and it feels very likely that a sequel would continue to explore that dynamic between Kratos and Atreus, even as both struggle to come to terms with his newfound potential. How will Kratos, so used to being the powerful protector, react now that his son could potentially be even more powerful? Could the conflict this raises between father and son somehow bring about the Ragnarok referenced in God of War and that PS4 theme? Or will the two find a way to work together, combining their might to battle any threats that come their way? Whatever happens, we can be certain that there will be huge new enemies to fight, new combat techniques to master, and a huge beating dad heart at the center of it all. So, look, I'm really excited about this. I'm excited about the game. The one thing that, of course, is kind of like a red flag to me is where, obviously with Ragnarok in the Norse mythology, 3-year winter, the Great Winter, and that would be the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, that's going to mean there's like so many just snowy landscapes. And because look, guys, here's the thing. I played God of War back in 2018. I played it twice through. I played the campaign a couple of times, and I usually do that with a lot of games that I enjoy. But what I realized in God of War when I was playing it, after playing it twice, I was like, okay, I'm not going to touch this game again. It was too much snow. It was, you kind of know what's going to happen. So that first experience is really what you love, right? And you get the big reveal at the end, and that's awesome. But then you play it over again. It's like, man, dude, the second time around is when I realized there was just so many snow environments and such. And that just bothered me after a while. And so I hope that they don't do that. I hope that there's more variety with the environments that you're fighting in or that you're exploring. I want to explore more of this world, but I don't want it to always be in the mountains, always be snowy wherever you are. I just want it to be like kind of a variety. I want there to be some co-op modes I think would be really great to bring you back with your friends. And I'd also love to have like a multiplayer experience, whether it's like you and your friends are able to take on waves of enemies like a horde mode from Gears of War, or you actually can do some PvP elements. I mean, why the hell not? I think that it would be I think it could be really popular, and it would bring a lot of those God of War fans back to the franchise or back to the game and continue playing. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you guys want out of God of War 2? Is there anything in particular that you guys want to see in the continuation of this franchise and this game that won tons of awards and people absolutely loved? Let me know what you guys think, and for more God of War 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. Back when I was in high school, Rock Band as well as Guitar Hero were just widely popular. So many people playing them. I've even got into them a little bit. But this franchise, guys, was a staple from probably 2005 to 2008. And then from there, it just got so oversaturated. And all of a sudden, it seemed that these games kind of almost got so oversaturated that to a degree, they lost their fan bases significantly, and all of a sudden, both Guitar Hero and Rock Band disappeared pretty much off the face of the planet overall. But with that being said, where is Rock Band 5? Because I think that at this point in time, it's been long enough since we saw a Rock Band or even a Guitar Hero. Where is a Rock Band 5? And I think that it's time with the next generation of consoles coming out that we could very well see another Rock Band game. So let's talk about it. In an article that was written by Jim Hargreaves of TSA, it appears as if developer Harmonix is gearing up for the reveal of its next game. A recent tweet from the company suggests best known for creating global sensation Guitar Hero as well as Rock Band in a slew of recent rhythm-based games, Harmonix is teasing a new project. Exactly what the studio has in the pipeline remains a mystery. Looking at its recent track record, there's no telling what Harmonix is working on, though. As ever, expect it to be music-related in some fashion. The team's last release, Drop Mix, was easily one of its most experimental, foregoing home consoles for customizable decks of cards and a game app that syncs to its unique music mixing dock. After the lukewarm reception of Rock Band 4 and its Rivals expansion, it seems very unlikely that Harmonix will return to peripheral-based play. Honestly, what we're hoping for is a worthy rival to the current king of the rhythm action scene, Beat Saber, and who else better to challenge this behemoth than the minds that once helped birth the genre. So look, if we, look at the main games of Rock Band. So Rock Band, the original, came out in 2007, Rock Band 2 in 2008, Rock Band 3 2010, and Rock Band 4 in 2015. So you had the span of these games, and then, of course, guys, they had, expansions and things of that nature, and then, of course, at this time, you had Guitar Hero, which was a massive juggernaut of a franchise as well. And what I will say about it is this. I believe a Rock Band 5 very well might be in the pipeline somewhere down the road here when the next generation of consoles comes out. I don't see why you wouldn't make another Rock Band. Harmonix obviously made a lot of money on all of these games, and so and Rock Band 4 got mediocre reception and such. Each of them were very popular though. They made a lot of sales. I think just the initial cost though to get Rock Band was just very expensive for a lot of consumers, but I think it's time now for them to bring out another Rock Band game. And I've said this also with Activision about bringing Guitar Hero back. Why not bring it back? It deserves to coexist within, the music space within video games. Beat Saber, of course, is a very, popular game at this point. But why not bring back two juggernauts of franchises, in particular Rock Band 5? I think it's definitely something that we could be seeing in the foreseeable future, guys, because of, even if you want to look away from everything, positive or negative about Rock Band, the one thing that we all know is the numbers, and the numbers don't lie that Rock Band 4 did sell very well. All of these games sold well for Harmonix, and I think, guys, that we most likely will see a continuation of the franchise. Now, here's the thing. It may not be enough just, wishful thinking that Rock Band 5 does come out at some point or another. We as a community, if you are a fan of the Rock Band franchise, you need to obviously continue to state that you want a continuation of the franchise, whether that be to Harmonix, whether you're tweeting or making posts, making videos about these games, that you want a continuation. It's very important, guys, that the community is behind it. And if the community is behind having another Rock Band game, then I believe that there's a real chance that Harmonix will say, hey, you know what? There's a lot of people who want this game. Let's make it if they aren't already. But like I said, guys, I think it's somewhere in the foreseeable future we will see another Rock Band game, and maybe some other games kind of like it. I think that it's got a very strong brand appeal to people. And I think it's something that may come in, like I said, in the near future. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Would you want to see a Rock Band 5? And if so, what do you want to see changed about the franchise to make it better? Let me know what you guys think. And for more Rock Band 5 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.